I did a little bit of work, and I think there was some kind of issue with the stream, but it should be working again now. This is still episode 2. But yeah, if you can see here, it's drawing. Um, it's drawing our GUI. Now, there is some things we can do to make it look nicer. But for right now, graphics aren't really my concern. I'm just trying to make a working product. I will say though, I'm gonna go ahead and do one thing with this draw command. And this is something I usually recommend people do with UI. Set alpha to, usually set the alpha on these to about 30, to about 0.3, and then on this one it's going to be draw set alpha 1. That way that the actual box is going to be drawn transparent. See, the text is still fully visible, but the box is transparent. So if I were to go down under it, you can still see my character down there. Granted, the UI is probably going to be manipulated and played around with a whole lot throughout the process of this, but yeah, for some reason it's I will look at that here in a few minutes, but I think that covers most of what we need to do with that UI. Now, we have our fire and we have our water. The elemental state system is going to be the key to this game, so let's work on combining states. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and create a new group in here. And this will be called level 2. So this is going to be where our level 2s start out. And we're going to start by create object. This one's going to be titled O Steam. And let me go ahead and add a new sprite for this one. So edit image, and I want to make this one kind of transparent just to show an example of something really quickly. So if I go to, let's say that you can edit alpha. No, you cannot in here, excuse me. So let's just set it as white, and then second we'll kind of do that. So there's your Steam. It doesn't look good, I know, but we're going to go into the harmonics variable really quickly. And we are going, let's go back to the master harmonics. And then will be create variables as the step. That one's not too hard to do. Create harmonic variable. Shoot, it's in the back of my mind. I just can't remember what it is. Oh, yep, it's in the variables. It's just gonna be its own x, and that's gonna be its own y, and oh, water. Wait a minute, no. So if shoot, I forget what it is. There is So what place meaning does so let's go if element equals 1. And then if I keep forgetting what it's not place, it's if instance place x, y, o water, then it will keep and it will layer instance create layer x, y, instances o Steam, and then it will instance destroy self. Let me do one thing with the fire. Let's add the, let's kind of edit the time on it. I want to make it a, let's set the timer to like 70. Yep, it does it. Okay, so watch. See, and then Steam, that's going to last for a much longer time. But what we can do later is we can add, I'm going to go ahead and cross out a few of these tabs. I don't know what's going on with my latency. It's just today it's not wanting to stream that much. But we are still getting videos out today. Oh boy. Anyway, oh yeah, that just ups the standard harmonics variables parent. And then children are going to be objects that it's going to react to like that. So with water, for example, the reason why water is one of the more interesting ones to use here is with water and fire, you can make the steam. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to, and well, I need to do one more thing in the harmonics event. I need to make it destroy the water as well. So let's go to the harmonic step event. Wait, that's the HUD. Excuse me. probably should full screen that. Alright, so if instance plays X, Y, or water, etc., etc. Instance create layer, instances O Steam. And it will get Alright, so this will be for if element equals 1, that is the fire element. But we're going to also do harmonics. Let's see our collider. Let's just do reactor. Cool. That's just a reactor, and then we'll. So that should do it. If you have it destroy an instance that's an instance place, it should destroy both. So if we do. Yeah, there might be a few glitches we see with that later, but in general, that's what we're looking for, is we're looking for something like that. Now, what I'm probably going to have it do with states or AoE events is do things like draw a circle out to check, or other element, or do other things. But for right now, we have one more issue that we need to talk about. And that is enemies. So, this one's a real number, and you want to know why? Because the character ID here, we're going to kind of bungle this a little bit, I guess. That might be one way to say it, but it's going to do, I'm going to do this in the event right here. So this is going to define, let's see here, define key variables. If car underscore ID is less than 0, enemy equals true. So that's a fairly simple one to do. So if it's an enemy, their character ID simply is going to be in the negatives. That just makes it a little easier to do, and it makes the rest of our system kind of interact well. If we were to go ahead and make an enemy, which let's go ahead and do that. Let's go to O players, and I'm going to, actually no, we go into O enemies. We're going to create an object here, and let's call this one O enemy. I'm going to go ahead and edit the sprite. Let's go into the sprites here. I'm just going to give them a wall sprite for now. And then parent is going to be objects, master, controller. And then steps, get inputs, yada yada. But now we go to variable definitions, and this is what I was talking about. The character ID is going to be -1. And I'm going to go into the room, and I'm going to place the... Wait, I'm on the background layer, that's why. I'm going to place the enemy down, and you're going to see what I mean by this. So, if we place the enemy down, the reason I gave it a negative ID is so if I later decide to assign these to keyboard, like, oh, if it's going to get a keyboard input, and if it's 1, the character ID will equal 1. If it's 2, it'll equal 2, yada yada. Then there's no way to actually select enemy characters. One thing we also need to do while I'm thinking about it. Gonna go ahead and let me edit one thing with the controller, just because it's gonna keep bothering. So if we go ahead and we go if collision, if place meaning O walls, and let's do one thing. Solid. Let's see here. Solid's a built-in variable. Excuse me. Let's just put solids equals a wall, and let's do O controller. So if we put solids in here, then it should, if I remember correctly, because you can use commas to tell it to an expression. Oh, walls, oh, excuse me, and O controller. So oh, and is not the right. Let's do an or. It's shoot. Actually, there is one thing I do want to check. What I might do is, even though I don't want a grid-based system, I might still have it draw a grid over it. That just kind of seems like a decent idea of something to do. So I'll put that in the design doc for later. But if we do a go into the enemy, it's not in the enemy listing, it's in my character list. Controller. The reason I made walls kind of a more for some reason they don't want to. Let me see here. Wait, it's in the objects. Let's see here. Players. Symphonia, character ID is 2, HP max is 30, and let's see your solid. Check. Check, and enemy. Check. I don't know what's going on with that. I'm just trying to figure out why So, let's do some work on that. Go into the room here. And one thing I do kind of want to figure out is let's keep the width about the same, but let's, because I'm gonna experiment with it here in a second. Let's change the height to 1366 as well. See how the room is a lot bigger now? Yeah, it's gonna help out with testing later. It's a weird thing. Game options. Here we go. And there is a object right here, O system. All right, and this is going to be upon creation. Actually, no, add event upon other game start. Here we go. Set display set. GUI maximize, and then let's do I like to just research what common aspect ratio is. Okay. Let's do 1920. Actually, yeah, I need to go ahead and open this. Let's do some Windows settings. Actually, wait, I forgot what we need to do. This would be via viewport, so this would actually be in a camera event. Now, we're going to go ahead and do something here. Alright, it's in the room editor. And viewports and cameras. Enable viewports. Visible. And then we're going to go ahead and edit this room again, and let's do 1366, and watch what happens when I turn this on. It should, yep, see, it stays about the same. However, when we move, it doesn't want to move with us. So let's fix that. What I'm going to do first is I'm going to go over to my UI here, and I'm going to create a new object and call it O Camera. Add event. Step. X equals O chorus dot X minus O Symphonia dot X. It's going to be the absolute value of that, so it's always going to be a positive number. So, and then Y equals absolute value of O chorus dot Y minus O Symphonia dot Y. And then I'm going to do one more thing here. And it's a switch that I'm actually going to hit on a few things throughout this process, but we're going to hit persistent on this. That way it knows, hey, this is an event that needs to go from map to map. And we're going to go into our viewports, and we're going to set viewport 0 object following objects, wait, UI camera. And let's see how that does. Well, actually, let's what if we just for starters, maybe we should just lock it onto chorus. That would probably be the easier way to test it, and then I'll experiment more with it later. But if we lock it onto chorus, that way if we move chorus off the screen, and before someone asks why I didn't just set it to follow chorus, this allows you more control over it. So if I do 1, and I move off screen, see, there's a lot more you can still do with it, but the camera will follow wherever course is going. What I do want to do is I want to add what I'm probably going to do eventually is I'm going to add some kind of peaking or zooming system where you can actually move that camera more manually. Actually, what we could do, and here's probably the best way to do it, if we go into the controller event, when the controller is created, let's set it to character ID equals character ID. I'm going to go to where we have it here. And let's see here. If O harmonic, if O controller car underscore I, if O controller dot car ID equals 1. That way it knows to follow course if it's 1. And then if O controller dot car underscore ID equals 2, X equals O Symphonia dot X and Y equals O. Granted, the thing is, it's not going to have a smooth transition over, but that should give you an idea of what. So like if I were to go off screen, it's under character ID. It should be under, let me look here, there might be a better variable to link it to. So if I go into here and I go key car equals car underscore num, see, it's still, it doesn't center them, which we will do later, but it does switch between the two. So if I do something like this, watch what it's gonna, they're both on screen, switching's not gonna really do anything. There's two options on how to do this actually. What you can do is you can actually add a buffer in the viewport, which I'm going to kind of give an idea of what that looks like. So camera properties, viewport properties. Let's add a horizontal speed of 10 and a vertical speed of 10. That way the camera doesn't automatically snap. And for the border, let's set these both to 64. That way you have more of a buffer between when it actually starts. So watch, if we do it like this. camera speed will vary based on who you're controlling. Now, there's a lot of events that you can actually do more than this, but right now that's not really the big thing. The big thing is that we actually have this focused. So what I'm going to actually do with the camera is I'm going to add a few more things. So there might actually be a way to do this. We're going to add another setting here. And we're going to say that by upon creation, it's going to have a camera controls. If no. Oh wait, you don't want if commands in a creation. What am I thinking? FreeCam free underscore cam equals false. Zoom equals 0. How I usually work with zoom is I use negative for a negative number or a zoom in, positive for a positive number or zoom out. So zoom and yeah. So if FreeCam we're going to do something a little interesting here. O controller dot key underscore up equals up. We're going to add a commands for FreeCamera later. But essentially what I want to do with that is you can control it with keyboard. I want to say that's about everything I wanted to get done today. But we do have a decent amount that I think we did get done. So Steam is finally in the game as a state. That's our first combination state. The master list right here keeps growing a lot. When a character is... when a character like Corsair Symphonia is mentioned, they have a decent amount of control. I can add more variables now for things like speed or anything like that. What I kind of want to check though with the HUD. So we're going to do something here with the GUI as well. So upon creation, it's going to have grid lines equals false, and minimal equals false. So all those are fairly easy to put in. If we go into steps here, let's say close the debug. Let's put game settings. Harmonics, sprites, HUD. All right. If grid lines equals true, There's one I saw here. Alpha precision. No. Thought there was a grid lines. Yeah, you're going to want to tie that to the room. But anyway, I think that covers about everything. So if I go ahead and file, let's do what we always do, file, save. And I think, I don't know whether I'll do it tomorrow or later today, but what I want to do is I want to add in enemy. Actually, let's go ahead and do this while I'm thinking about it. So it's in a controller event here. And we're going to do this right here is going to be not controller related, but this will be our section for health. If HP equals 0, instance underscore destroy self. Granted, that's not the best way to do this, and I'll probably make it conditional for if it's something else, but if place meeting x, y, o harmonics HP minus minus. All right, so what this should very basically allow us to do. Yep, that's our issue. But we have a way to destroy enemies now. So yeah. What it's essentially what I think the best way to do this is to have the controller split itself into two sides essentially. And what we're going to do is we're going to actually set a variable on the harmonics really quickly. So harmonic with and we're going to go into harmonics to actually add a variable here. Upon creation, owner equals owner. Owner dot it's going to be self dot owner equals other. harmonics. Let's see here, and let's do if O harmonics dot owner equals self, then place meeting with the object harmonics. Dot instance ID. See if that did it. Well, I think that I don't really have anything else I want to do, if I'm being honest. I kind of need a little bit of a break for a bit. Well, anyway, tomorrow I have the day off, and it's Thanksgiving, so I'll be doing a little bit of work on it. Probably not too much, though. But yeah, this is Sharp Z signing off. Have fun, guys, and maybe I'll come back tonight.